Banyana have one leg in the women's AFCON and will be looking to avoid surprises when they take on Algeria in their round 2 second leg tomorrow. South Africa beat the Phoenix 2-0 at home, and they're up north where they will be hoping to secure their spot in Morocco for the 2022 Africa Women Cup of Nations. To speak more on this, we're joined by former Banyana captain Nthabeleng Dunga Modiko. A very good morning to you, Nthabeleng. Just wanted to talk to you about the fact that they're going into the second leg with a 2-0 aggregate. What do they need to do to protect it?
Thank you for having me, Nandi, and good morning to everyone. I think for us as a country, we should be jubilant a little bit because at least we found that comfort in terms of the first leg and making sure that we win it at home, and also without any conceding any of the goals. So I think the hard work is now only going to start when we go to Algeria, because they will want to be able to defend as much as they can and also get maybe one or two or even more goals in order to take us out of this league.
And they also went into that match last weekend coming off a huge defeat to Zambia, disappointing one in the friendlies. How important were the European-based players coming in for this match against Algeria in the first leg in terms of boosting the squad?
Yeah, you need to remember this was maybe one of the first match for the year for Coach Desraelis and the home-based players. So the experience of the European-based players also counted a lot, and it helped a lot.
Yeah.
You could see the girls were fresh, the girls were knowing what to do, and they could take on the coach's instructions with ease. And we need to remember as well, COVID has played a huge role in terms of delaying so many things for the girls in terms of playing. But the European-based girls, of course, they did marvelously, and we are very much grateful to be having such a privilege as a country.
Looking back to 2018, the Africa Women Cup of Nations then, South Africa finishing runners-up. Just assuming that they do qualify because they've got 1 foot in at the AFCON already, can they then be treated as favourites and possibly go on to win it because of the fact that they finished as runners-up?
We've been qualifying for the Africa Women's Championships for a lot of years before, and I think this is the 1 year where maybe Coach Desiree will be having so much pressure because we managed to make it to the World Cup the previous edition, and we managed to qualify for the World Cup. And yes, South Africa, amongst other countries, yes, we will be regarded as favorites. But I don't think that pressure needs to be getting to us as yet, because we first need to jump over Algeria. So if we manage to not count our chicken before they hatch yet, that would be great. We need to do the job right now, and we need to ensure that we put the whole body now, not just the leg, but the whole body must go through tomorrow.
And also, I want to talk about the fact that we're not only looking at the Cup of Nations. Let's not forget that next year there's also the World Cup happening. How important is it in Nthabeleng to start integrating, for Coach Desraelis, of course, to start trying to integrate a more youthful side as well, to balance out with the experience that we have, for example, those European-based players?
Yeah, you've hit it right on the head, because there are so many experienced legs within the squad, and we need to just dilute it a little bit with the not necessarily dilute it, but beef it up with the youth. And I know that Coach Desiree has been working along with the other youth structure coaches like Coach Jabu and Coach Shoti in order to ensure that we have the quality players that can be drafted into the senior team. I mean, the World Cup, we've seen, the last edition, we were debutants. This time around, there should be no excuse whatsoever in terms of why we're not getting the results. So I'm sure they're working day and night in trying to harness and trying to develop as many young quality players as possible. I remember last weekend, Coach Shoti was trying to get as many under-17 players as possible in the regions of Gauteng, Northwest, Northern Cape. She's been going around even since last year, trying to find the youth players and getting them ready for Coach Desraelis eventually. So the World Cup is a big fit, and it needs everybody to be, of great standard and of great quality. Not only will be relying on the European-based players, but even the home-based players need to say, "Hey, coach, I'm here." You need to raise their hands and say, I would also like to showcase, the talent that I have. especially for the country. So yes, the mixing of youth as well as experience will play a huge role in order for us to be able to qualify better and to participate better.
Now, speaking of coaching, and this is my last question to you, speaking of coaching and development, you yourself have a vast experience as a coach. Where are we in South Africa in terms of producing women's coaches, and are we getting there quickly enough?
There are coaches. I think maybe formally we're still lagging a little bit behind, but I know just some information that I have privately that there will be education courses in order to make sure that we've got as many coaches as possible, not only just female but also male coaches, because we know that they also have a passion that they have for women's soccer. So in terms of developing women coaches, yes, it's moving, but the progress speed is a little bit slower. I think also it goes to, if we could have more of Coach Desiree's and more of Coach Jabu's and, the presence, in our regions, in our LFAs, that could also help, because we still know that the coaching era is still dominated by males. So we could increase it, but at least for now it's moving. It's not stagnant. So we are getting somewhere.
Yeah, it's good to know that there is something in the pipelines. And Nthabeleng, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. That was former Banyana captain Nthabeleng Dunga Modiko. All right, that's me for the moment. I'll be back at the top of the hour.
And it is male-dominated as well. And I just saw an interesting tweet while you were on air about it. Someone saying, so when is Desiree Ellis going to coach Bafana?
Ooh, and why not?
And why not?
It might be exactly what's needed.
Desiree Ellis, are you keen?
I think she's happy with Banyana. I think she was.
But the name has...
No, she's been there since 2016. She's good.
But the name has been thrown in now. So maybe it's an interesting viewer question for another day as well. It's 2022. How we're still having to have these conversations is beyond me. But here we are. But maybe it's time. Maybe it is time. Nandi Shabalala with sports. We'll check in again an hour or so from now, Nuns. Thank you as always.